Hey, what's up guys? This is Andrew Mil-Spec with Combat Training. Today's video we're going to be talking about how to clean and lubricate your Glock pistol. I've been getting a lot of prospective students asking about, are you going to go over how to disassemble, clean and lubricate and reassemble the gun, because they're new shooters and they want to know how to do that. But I don't want to focus on that in class. My class is about gunfighting, and we're going to spend way more time on tactics, working on you using those tactics, and we're going to be coaching you through a lot of skills and talking about the mindset you need to have in a fight. And I don't want to spend any time on weapons maintenance. However, if you have any questions on it, you're welcome to bring those to the class, but I figure it's much easier to just make a video on it, what's really required, and that way you can refer back to the video. Now, this pistol is probably sitting at about 250 rounds. I've been through it since the last time it was cleaned, and it's had about a total of somewhere over 5,000 rounds through it total. So that's about the time where you want to take it into an armor every like 5,000 rounds or so. Bring it to an armor and just be like, hey, I've shot about 5,000 rounds through it. I just want you to check all the parts, make sure there's nothing getting worn out, anything that needs to be replaced. It could be, a little spring in there, or ejector, something like that. Something that needs to be replaced just because it's starting to get worn out, or there's like cracks developing in it, and you don't want that to break on you in the fight. You'd rather just replace it right then and there ahead of time. Now, what are we going to be needing? We're going to first of all clear the room of any ammunition. Check your room, check your body, check your pockets, make sure you don't have magazine pouches on you that have mags in it, and then also check your weapon, check the chamber, and check the mag well, ensure that it's empty. That way there's no possible way for there to be a fuck up. And if you don't check the room, check your body, and check your weapon, and then you end up shooting a round off, that's not an accident, that's negligence, okay? Refer back to my firearm safety video. But there's some people who will say something like, well, I'm not dumb, so I'm not going to do that. Well, you're actually the dumbest person, because you think that you can't possibly make a mistake. So check the room, check your body, and check your weapon. Now, what are we going to be needing? We're going to need, of course, whatever guns we're going to be cleaning. Then you want to have an AP brush, all-purpose brush. They're like $2-3, or buy a pack of 10 of them. Then you have several different gun cleaning kits, some CLP, and I recommend buying the smaller bottles. Again, that way you can have several different kits. I don't use solvents. I've used them before, and I ended up breaking the tritium on my sights. So now I just use CLP, and I use it very sparingly, because even then I've used a certain brand of CLP, and I think it may have broken the tritium on another front sight of a different gun. So the most basic CLP you can possibly find, use that. Now what I have right here is Shooter's World CLP, so I hope that doesn't break the sight. But yeah, I stay away from all those solvents and all that. You don't need to get the gun spotless. It's never going to be spotless. After the first round is fired through it, it's going to be dirty forever. Next thing, going to be some old t-shirts, just cut them up, or some rags. And then another thing you can use is some Q-tips. Just kind of check, make sure that, because it's like all the parts are black, make sure like, oh shit, there's a lot of carbon there, you gotta clean that part a little bit better. That's what we'll use the Q-tips for. But we don't even need to get the gun crazy clean. We just want to get the majority of the carbon off, make sure it's lubricated, and then we're good to go. Now, okay, pressing the trigger is not a part of the unloading process, but for a Glock pistol, it is a part of the disassembly process. So make sure you do that in a safe direction, and also make sure you get a good rep of proper trigger press when you do it. Now, after you have pressed the trigger in a safe direction, you got these tabs that are on both sides, right? Tab right here, and then it's on the other side too. Grab it with your thumb and index finger, makes it easiest. pull down on them, and then you're just gonna take the gun out of battery. Then those tabs come down all the way and you can feel it, and then you can pull the slide off. Now, I'm gonna change the angle of the camera so y'all can see this. Right there, that looks good. Okay. Now, I'm doing this on a piece of wood over my table. That way, I'm not gonna get CLP and lead all over the table where I could be possibly eating off of, and that my daughter could also be touching, because we don't want to get our kids poisoned with lead. So that's another thing you can do. And then also, if you have the surgical gloves, use those. I have no idea where all mine went after I moved, but this is what I'm doing right now. So we have the slide right here and the frame right here, right? That's not upper and lower. When it's a pistol, it's a slide and the frame. So next part, you're gonna push down or push in on the spring, pop that out, and then we just push the barrel forward and then pull it up and out. That's as far as we're gonna break it down. For cleaning, again, we're gonna keep this really simple. I like to just take a couple drops and put them on my brush. That way I know I'm only putting CLP where it needs to go, and I'm not gonna end up breaking the tritium on my sights. Now, first thing we're gonna hit is these rails right here, right? Basically, we just wanna hit everything metal. So the rail right there, rail right there, right there, and right there. So I'm just gonna hit those. I'm trying to multitask by looking at the screen, make sure everything's in frame, and I'm a dude, so I kind of suck at multitasking, so bear with me. All right, just kind of get those rails, all right, get in here a bit, and then also right here where the trigger bar is, going right here, and then also you have the slide lock, those bars going back. You want to get in there. Okay, scrub it out deep in here in this section. As I'm looking at my right side, that's where a lot of stuff will build up as well. Lots of carbon will build up in there. Okay, then I'm just gonna take the shirt or rag or whatever, wipe it all clean. If you reuse these rags by washing them instead of just throwing them away, just make sure you do that separate from the rest of your clothes. I would recommend just throw that shit away. That way you can make sure you don't get lead contaminating anything else. There's no possible way, you know, rags are cheap, especially if it's just from unwanted clothing that you have laying around, and you probably have lots of stuff you haven't worn in forever. Okay, cool. So that's good. Now I'm just gonna check with a Q-tip real quick, make sure there's nothing crazy going on. Q-tips are also good for getting in those tight spaces, because sometimes the t-shirt won't. Get in there. It's not too bad. Now they'll always come out gray, but it's when it comes out like totally black, like there. Pulled some carbon up with this one. Ah, shit. Oh well, how well you can see that, but pulled some carbon up that made the Q-tip actually black. A little bit, but I mean, looking at it, it's just fine. Okay, now I want to check in this spot right here, again on the right side as I'm looking at it. See, that's pretty nasty. Lots of carbon likes to build up in there. Holy, it's all inverted for me. So I usually take a couple Q-tips in here. And then I think that's good. All right, I'm just gonna make sure there's no extra CLP in there on the mag well. And I'm good on the frame. Now, take the brush, I like to clean it off a little bit. Then put a little bit more CLP on it. I'll hit the spring. Wipe it off. Right there. And number one thing too is before you do any of this, just read the manufacturer's manual. That way you're not going to break anything. You know how to properly disassemble it, and you're putting lubrication in the right spots. Now, I hit the barrel. I don't run patches down my barrels unless I see a significant loss of accuracy, or I know there's been debris in there, or it's rained down the barrels and I'm suspecting that there's rust. The thing you can do is take it, look at a light, right, and look down the barrel towards the light, or like a white wall or something, and just inspect the grooves, see if there's any debris or anything crazy going on there. This one, of course, looks just fine. Now, you can run patches and snake it if you want. I just don't. I never do. I don't even do it with my rifles. The thing I'm going to hit is this lug right here, and then the chamber right here, and the feed ramps. Now, it's going to be really dirty in here, but specifically, you want to make sure that this area is clean. The lugs. Now, don't trust your gun out of the box either. Make sure it's lubricated. It's not going to be dirty, right? Because it's a new gun, but make sure it's lubricated. Just to test it, you know. And I've seen videos where people are like, you know, I trust a Glock right out of the box, and they go and run it. Well, with my Glock 45, you know, just to try it out, I wasn't even carrying it yet because I wanted to make sure everything was functioning at the range before I started carrying it. I was shooting it out of the box and ended up with brass stuck in the chamber. And there's a method where you basically just grab the slide like this, and you take this hand and you go, hit it really hard, kind of like mortaring a rifle, and that's how you clear it. I had to do that, and that's because the chamber was not lubricated. I've also had that happen with my RPK I used to own. So make sure that the chamber is lubricated, otherwise brass may get stuck in there. And that was with brass with my Glock 45, not seal case ammo. Okay, so make sure the chamber is lubricated. Now, kind of hit these ledges too, right? Now I like to get inside the chamber. That area is going to be really dirty in there. Right? Now wipe it off again. Take a Q-tip, check out that area. A bit dirty. And there's looking pretty good. A little bit dirty. Be careful with these Q-tips too, because I've seen people get them stuck in places they shouldn't be, specifically when cleaning ARs. And I've done that too, so be careful where you're putting them. I'll make a video on cleaning your AR-15 as well, but I figure pistol's most important, and my pistol needed to be clean. All right, so barrel's good. If you are super worried about the barrel being dirty, you can put a couple of drops of CLP down there. This is more just to maintain it from getting rusty in the bore, right? But this is all I do. I'll just run a couple Q-tips in there. All right, I am not worried about the bore so much, but that's one thing you can do. Now, slide. I'm going to tell you, don't let CLP get in this part right here, right? Because then it gets into the striker channel, and then it's going to build up gunk, and that's going to give you light primer strikes, meaning you're going to get a click instead of a bang, which is not good. So don't let CLP get into this area right here, okay? Hopefully you can see that. Let me get this out of the way. There's contrast that way, okay? Right here, we want to avoid putting CLP in there. So, I'm going to clean off my brush a bit. Put a little bit of CLP on. Now we want to be really careful. Don't get the CLP on your sights, because again, using another brand CLP, I thought it would be just regular CLP, but I did end up breaking my night sights, which totally sucks and is a pain in the ass, because then you have to go get them reinstalled after you get a new one, all that. Trigicon did hook me up when I broke my front sight though, so thank you, Trigicon. I think it was from the CLP, but I can't say for certain. Now, we want to hit inside these rails right here on the side, right? That's the area we want to make sure is most clean so that the gun can slide freely on the rails. Excuse me, the slide can slide freely on the rails. And then get up here by the muzzle in that circle right there, right? And then I like to hit this spot right here. Make sure that's good. And then this part right here where the brass is going to lock up on there. Now we have the extractor, right? We want to get underneath that. So kind of press my nail down right there like that. And then just brush underneath. Now I'm thinking it looks pretty good. Go ahead, wipe her all down. We want to get all the excess off, and we're also pulling carbon off while we do this. And we can go ahead and check it with a Q-tip. Usually a Q-tip will clean this area too, which is nice. And don't worry about trying to make it perfect, but if you can look and you're like, yeah, it's not pulling off hardly anything, then you can feel good about yourself. Just give yourself a pat on the back, say I did a good job. We're good on that side. Check this side. Pretty nasty right there. Another thing, guys, do not let anyone else clean your gun for you. I fucking hate when people do that. You cannot trust anyone else to do it correctly, and you cannot trust anyone else to reassemble your guns correctly. So if if you lend a gun to a friend, I don't trust them to clean it. I would rather do it myself. Same thing with loading magazines. I don't believe they're going to do it correctly. I don't know if they're going to put the correct rounds in there even. And you're accountable for your own weapons, so do it yourself. Also, there's lots of places that are offering quick cleans and stuff. Ranges are starting to do that. You can clean it pretty quickly yourself. Again, I'm taking my sweet time on this so I can talk to you guys and tell you exactly what I'm doing, but really I would be done by now normally. Okay, so next is checking this area right here with the Q-tip. That area will get nasty. And I think we're good. Press down on the extractor a bit and make sure we're good underneath it. All right, cool. I'm feeling good about it. Now, gun's totally clean, clean enough at least. We're gonna lubricate it. I like to put just a little dot right here at the front of the barrel. Work around with my finger, okay? Get it back here. On top of the chamber. Then the lugs. And I just work it around with my finger, okay? Now we don't have too much on it. Put one right there on the feed ramp, and then I'll put a little bit in the chamber. I'm just kind of spraying it around with the nozzle of this. Oh, motherfucker. Great job, Shooters World CLP. Thank you. Okay. It's alright. Didn't get on the sights, so that's good. Hey, good thing I used this piece of wood. Alright. Piece of shit. Wow. Suppose that's why we don't buy lube sold by gun stores, huh? Buy one that's made by someone, like Remington. Alright. Well, Remington's going out of business, aren't they? So, again, hit the front, hit the top of the chamber, get inside the chamber, hit the feed lip, and get these lugs. Just put a light coat of oil on those. Next, I put like just a drop right here. Okay. I'm going to insert the barrel, slide it back. I don't lube the spring. Insert it. And you put the front end and you push in and drop it down. Let me show you how that works. I'll do the barrel too. So, barrel would go in, right? And then slide it back. It'll click down, put in this part right here at the front, that part of the spring, push in, lock it down. It'll look just like that. It'll hold itself together. All right. Now, I put a drop right here, a drop right here, all right? Drop right here. I don't want this to fucking dump out again. All right, and a drop right here. All right, cool. I'll put a drop right there, if that's gonna touch, and a drop right here. And of course, you know, read the manufacturer's instructions. That way you're not doing anything crazy. I might as well work that around with my finger a little bit too. Again, we don't need too much oil, but we do need some oil. So, also, people who say that, oh, it doesn't need lubrication, they're completely full of shit. Don't listen to them. All right, so then we just line the slide back up on the rails, and then go ahead and rack it. After that, you can go ahead, wipe off the excess, and I always rack it a bunch of times. It gets all the excess moving, then lock it back, and I wipe it off because there will be excessive CLP on the weapon. I don't know how well you can see it if it's reflecting, but there's still a lot over here on the slide. Okay. Now, the rack it a few more times. Do it again. This gets all the extra nonsense off. Now, last thing, again, pressing the trigger is not a part of the clearing process. That's a thing that came from the military, you know, to ensure people are going to the chow hall with unloaded guns. They have clearing barrels, and so that was a part of their unloading process that needs to go away. But pressing the trigger is a part of the functions check. So Glock pistol, again, no ammunition in the room, none in your body, clear chamber, empty mag well, pointing in a safe direction, press and hold the trigger to the rear. So I'm still holding the trigger, as you can see right there. Now we're gonna rack it, and we're going to slowly release the trigger, and we'll hear it reset. We should feel it reset too. Right there, okay? Hit that nice reset. If you want to feel good about it, you can do it again. Make sure everything feels correct. And you let off. All right, good to go. So, thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna turn the camera back on. Fix that. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. Visit combatortraining.com. I made that firearm safety video. Please share that with everyone. Very important people see that. Again, lots of new shooters out there. We want to make sure everyone's being safe so that no one negligently gets hurt, and we all also maintain our rights, because every time someone fucks up, someone gets hurt, and then we lose some of our rights in some way. Now, combatortraining.com, buy my rifle slings, sign up for classes. Remember, guys, that training saves lives.